Now, to some degree, this would all be fine and dandy if it was confined only to Italy. Not that I'm saying that anybody treating women as property, treating women as do as I say or you're going to get raped, do as I say or you're going to get beat. And then saying that any time that these things happen, no matter how hard the woman works, and I've known women who have been so subservient to men who beat them that the men raped them anyways because that's part of that person's psychological makeup. There was nothing these people could do that would please their man enough because these people want to micromanage the lives of their women because everything has to be perfect or it's a beating or it's a raping. And to say that that is the woman's fault, it's not only inaccurate, it's disgusting. It's basically blaming the victim. It's no different than a bully grabbing your fist and hitting you with it, saying, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. And it's every bit as disgusting and as much of an injustice as something like that. It's somebody who's stronger taking advantage of somebody who's weaker. And then when they dare to ask for their rights and their freedoms, a freedom, by the way, not to be raped or sexually assaulted in any way, shape, or form, they're blamed. And this, my friends, is a part of what an actual rape culture is. It's not giving justice to actual rape victims. It's putting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock in front of people who have been harmed and who have been legitimately wronged. And not only that, saying that it's their fault. A piece of rape culture is our clothing. As Wachter so eloquently put it, a woman could be walking naked down the street. A woman could be in the middle of the street, naked, masturbating. She does not deserve to be raped. And it's part of rape culture is a bit also of the slut shaming. Oh, you're a slut. Automatically, you're a non-person. If you're a prostitute, a stripper, a call girl, or any kind of sex worker, and you get legitimately raped, it's your fault because you're a slut, because you no longer have rights or are a person in our eyes, because this is no different than what we have done throughout history. We turned black people into property. That way we don't have to feel bad about violating their human rights because they're not people. They're not human. They don't get human rights. Funny how that works. Just like in, oh, I don't know, World War II. I know, and I'm not trying to invoke Goodwin's Law, but again, I have a good point here. Basically, to get people on board with extermination of the Jews, not that Hitler needed much opinion and approval here, he set about to scientifically prove that the Jews had no soul, therefore, thereby making them non-people or fake people. Therefore, they are heartless, they're soulless, they're monsters. And by taking the humanity away from these human beings, you can then look at them with different eyes, and you're not fooled by their evil Jew tactics into thinking that they're humans, that they're actual people. So it can be easy to remove or take away their human rights because they're not people. Only people get human rights, silly. So if these are non-people, we can do whatever we want to these people, and it's perfectly okay with everything, including the Lord, because these are non-people. They're fakes. They're imposters. We're doing the world a favor by getting rid of these monsters and making sure these monsters no longer breed. The same thing is going on with things like pedophiles, whether they be exclusive, non-exclusive, offending, non-offending, and yes, as I've specified in my research series on pedophilia, all of these things are a category. There is a spectrum here. People see no problem with labeling somebody as simply being a pedophile, whether there's any evidence to it or not, and wanting to crucify them based off of word of mouth alone, because the moment that you were labeled with the giant P on your forehead, you no longer, or you cease to be a person. And we're doing it with women too. We've been doing it with women, but it's like with every new freedom we give them, we take more freedoms away, because this is our game. This is our end goal here, is not equality, but revenge. How dare the vaginas rise up from their kitchens and dare to want to work? Who wants to work? I barely want to work. Why do they want to work? Why can't they be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen all the time? Because again, remember, sex is for procreation. It's not for recreation, because recreation is the devil's playground. Because that makes sense. Yes, we were given pleasure centers unlike almost any other species in the known on our planet here, and we're not supposed to use them for anything enjoyable, only unless we're procreating. See how it's all interconnected. It weaves this tapestry of stupidity, of social moralities and social constructs. Slut is exactly that. It's a social construct. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander. When a man goes and does something slutty, he's cheered on. He's revered. He's a good guy. He's doing what men are supposed to do. Fuck bitches. Shoot. I've cursed and I'm sorry, but I know I've been trying to keep that off this channel, but let's face it, this is used in the example of the vernacular of the people who generally tend to talk about women as cum dumpsters and sex dolls, for lack of a better term, without using their term, because I'm trying again to run a very clean show here. But that's the end goal. If we make women into non-people, then it's easy to do whatever we want. They're furniture. Put them right next to the Louis Vuitton or whatever. Put them right next to the IKEA. They're a lampshade fixture. They're utilitarian. They're there when we need them, and they're supposed to not be there when we don't. And they should not meddle in our affairs, for if we want to have hoes in different area codes, that's our business, because we're men. That's what we're supposed to be like. And this then, of course, perpetuates the idea that men only want to have sex. 24/7, it's sex, sex, sex. Therefore, ergo, if we always want to have sex and we're not getting sex, then, contrary to what the actual definition of a rapist is, or rape in general is, we're all rapists because we're all about sex. I mean, it's simple math. Always want sex plus not always getting sex equals forced sex. Because that's what happens. Because sex is always about just getting off. It's not that it's about power. It's not about that it's about forcing one's will onto somebody else. It's not about taking something innocent from somebody that they can almost never get back. Though I say almost never, because my research into treatment of sexual abuse leaves and my assessment of sexual abuse treatment leaves much to be desired, but that's again another video. Can you understand now that this double-edged sword is hurting both men and women, but mainly for the most part it's hurting women, and especially the fact when we're talking about slut shaming and the non-persecution of rapists? How many persecutions do you think are actually brought to court of men who were legitimately raped? And I'm not always just talking about man-on-man rape by situational rapists, not usually by gays, by the way, for those of you who are thinking, oh, it's the gays raping all our men. How easy do you think those are to persecute? How many cases do you recall of men going to court over a rape that they've had when they've legitimately been hurt in the ways that women have been hurt? Exactly. It gets laughed off. We tell them to their face in no uncertain terms, although we might not use the same language because we've got to be sensitive, that we don't care about your pain. You don't get raped, men. You, even if you have, walk it off. You're a man. Act like it. Men are not supposed to be able to be damaged because, we're impervious. We're just bulletproof because that's how that works. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get into my article here, so we're going to go into overtime with the next video, but I hope this starts to get some wheels turning. I hope this gets some people thinking about what this all means for everybody, not just women, though women are a big afflicted part of this. It's no longer okay to sit by the sidelines and be like, well, boys will be boys. We're past that. We are a long time past that.